my delicious co-creators. Lilou here in beautiful Sedona. I hope you're doing well and this video finds you in a place where you're inspired, and if not, well, you probably are going to find some inspiration here with Peter. Hello, Peter.
Hello, Lilou.
It's good to see you, to meet you in person.
Wonderful to be here in this beautiful, stunning location. We are here up on the top of Submarine Rock, of all places.
This is a special place, huh?
Very special. It's one of my favorite kind of under-the-radar PowerPoints of Sedona. A lot of people don't know about this spot, but it's my favorite place to come, one of them for sure.
And what's really special about you and your work is that really you bring your heart pretty much anywhere you go, and this is quite a portable one.
This is my little portable model. I've taken this one all over the world with me, to Egypt and to England and Peru, and it's my trusty travel harp. But this is the work I've been doing now for about 20 years, is working with music and sound healing, and primarily through the harp.
What's so special about the harp?
Well, it's just the way the harp came to me. It was about 25 years ago I came to Sedona. I was led on a spiritual journey to come here. And I retreated to the outback of the canyons, and this inner voice was guiding me. I released all my possessions, and it was kind of like you, I quit my job and it feels good. That's what I did. I quit my job and I came to Sedona and I got a van and I lived in my car for 3 years, and I slept every night in the canyons amongst the ancient ruins and the coyotes and the ancient spirits here. But the main thing that really had a dramatic effect was coming on the land and listening to the profound silence that's here, just really a very, very deep stillness. And that allowed me to go into a very kind of transcendent state of awareness. I got very, very empty, very, very quiet. And then I began to hear music, like the inner music that the mystics and the saints speak of. And I started to hear the angels sing to me, and it was like the most beautiful music that I had ever heard, and it touched me so deeply my whole body began to tremble and shake, and tears spontaneously came to my eyes. And this went on, and then eventually I had a vision, the angels coming to me and taking me up into the light, into the golden light. And
you love angels.
Well, I had no reference for angels before this happened. I was very much on my shamanic path, and I was doing Native American things, and but then all of a sudden the angels appeared out of the golden light, and see, as I talk about them, then they come and pick up with the harp.
I'm going to interview the harp too. The wind is coming up, huh?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I had no reference for angels until they appeared and started talking to me. And I thought I was kind of losing my marbles, but they made it very clear that it was really happening, and we started telepathically communicating to each other. And they told me that my mission, because I was asking for my mission as a light worker to be revealed to me, because I knew I was here to help with the grand planetary awakening, and I was just asking for what's my role, as probably a lot of your viewers are seeking that. And so I came here. The canyons became my place where I birthed myself and rebirthed myself. And then the mission came, and the angels told me that I was to be a channel for the celestial music of which I was hearing on the inner planes, and they said I was to play the harp. And I wasn't a musician. I was in my early 30s. I had really no musical background. But like many people, I felt music in my heart and was just waiting for the right instrument. And then they said to play the harp, and within a week, a harp came to me through circumstance, magical circumstance, and from the moment I put my hands on the string, music came forth from the harp. But one of the things I noticed, because I was living in the wilderness, in the outback, when I would take the harp outside and the wind would pick up, the wind would start to play the harp. And then as I researched that, I discovered that there's many ancient stories and legends about the harp being played by the wind, even from Merlin, the great magician, and through ancient Egypt, and through the Greek stories of the Greek gods. Apollo played the harp, and King David played the harp, and many, many stories of the power of the harp as being an instrument like no other, that the tonal quality of the harp can touch you in a place that no other instrument can. That's why it was held so sacred for thousands of years around ancient Egypt, ancient Samaria, and probably even in Atlantis before that, where it was played in the healing temples.
A very special vibration.
Very special, yeah. And it's just the way when you play a harp, the way that it rests up against your body, so you have this full spectrum sound going right up your body, right into your chakras or your energy centers, into your nervous system. And now the medical industry and establishment is studying harp therapy and the effect it has on patients when the harp is being played in the operating room, or even for people with nervous system disorders like multiple sclerosis. There's some stories of the patients playing the harp, just strumming it, and then as they do that over time, all their symptoms disappear. And if they stop playing the harp, then the symptoms come back. So there's something very soothing and calming to these pure harmonic tones of the harp.
What is magic to you?
Well, my website is harpmagic.com. So this has brought so much magic into my life. To walk through life carrying this instrument has been an interesting journey for me. But I live my life in a place of magic and miracles. I call it kind of miracle-mindedness. And especially working with the angels, because the angels, when you invite them into your life and you connect with your own personal angels, they can assist us in bringing forth and manifesting the highest vision of who we are that's aligned with our ultimate spiritual identity of who we are and our self-realizations of divine beings. The angels are here to help us with that. They're not here to help you get the new Porsche or the higher paycheck so much, but here to help you embody more of your true spiritual essence.
And until we ask them, they don't really show up in our lives. So do you have some recommendation on how to connect with angels even if we don't have a harp around?
Yeah, well, I mean, you start to, there's many ways, and I teach this in my workshops, how to connect with the angels, but the one thing is to start to develop a relationship with them and just call out to them, talk to them like they were there with you. And one of the things the angels gave me is my music, because the music helps to bring you into a resonant vibrational state that helps you to connect with the angels. The music is like a vehicle or a doorway to allow the angelic energies to come to you as an invocation. And you can also use the music the way the angels help me to create a very multidimensionally. When you close your eyes, you can travel into their realms of celestial light. It's very beautiful. I've had, just real quickly, I've had hundreds and hundreds of letters from people all over the world in many languages telling me that this is their experience when they start playing my music. So,
what does it look like to enter in the angels' world? What is your experience? Can we get into your world here?
You can, and I actually wrote about it in great detail in my book, Hearing the Angels Sing, A True Story of Angelic Assistance. But when I was having these kind of flights of fancy, out-of-body, astral projection, kind of shamanic, multidimensional journeys with the angels, the realm was so sublime in its beauty, just the iridescence of color and like refracting rays of color that the angels can actually fly and soar on, just the most exquisite. But the main thing is the feeling when you're there, because it's this all-pervading feeling of love and oneness, of unity. Yeah. And when you're there, you everything makes sense to you, because you're seeing holographically, and it's in the unified field of oneness and love, which is just profound. Yeah. It's hard to describe, but many people who've had near-death experiences report seeing the golden light, feeling the power of love, that was the most impactful thing, was the feeling of love. And that was my experience, and that's what has brought forth the music for me, was to come on that emotional feeling, that sound current and vibration of just divine love.
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult for artists to live from their music. If there is some artist out there, do you have any recommendation, or how did you really? I guess you're doing this fully now, and you have created many albums. What is your recommendation?
Well, I mean, I talk about this in my book too. It happened so quickly for me. When the harp came into my life, I started playing it within weeks, songs and melodies. 10 months later, I made my first actual recording, which got discovered by a record label that released it worldwide to critical acclaim, and it was nominated for a national award in 1994. And so it happened very quickly, but then I had challenges and hardships like many of us do when we're on the path. But it just tested my resolve and my commitment to stay true to what my soul's path, rather than selling out and going back and getting that 9-to-5 job, whatever. I just felt it in my heart. I had to see this through. And there were times when I got down to just 25 cents in my pocket and a bag of rice in the cupboard. That's all I had. But I said, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then I feel like once I was tested, because there's a purification that goes on. You probably know this too, doing the work you do. If we're in our ego too much and we're feeling really cool about who we are and all this, Spirit has a way of bringing something to humble us and to teach us humility and gratitude for what we have, to purify us so that we can be a pure channel to allow the real work to come through us.
Yeah. So you're grateful for that time, and you think it's definitely 100% part of this journey.
Oh, definitely. I wouldn't want to go back there by any means,
Yeah.
but I've been very blessed that I've been able to make my living with my music. And for those who feel that they are bringing through an inspired sound that comes from their heart and soul, you know, that energy is just received by the world at large. So I think you just need to stay true to it and stay on your path.
I met a lot of sound healers on these trips, and particularly in Kauai, some beautiful people. What is sound for you? What does that represent ultimately? How important is it, and what's its role?
Right. You know, many of the mystic traditions throughout the ages speak of the inner light and the inner sound. And kind of light and sound are two of the same things, of just different sides of the coin. But together they work kind of holistically to unify kind of the 0 point of consciousness, or the 0 point of eternity. So tuning into the sound, you know, even in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, when somebody passes on, they say the last sense to leave them is the sound. That's why they'll often stay by the side of somebody's body for 4 or 5 days, reciting the sacred scripture to help guide them into the afterlife. So sound, what scientists say, sound is the first sense that we get when we're in utero as a fetus. We start to hear the sounds of our mother and our external environment. And then it's the first sense to come and the last to go. So it's the most important. So that's why I always tell people, and I love to bring them out into the canyons here and have them sit in the silence and to just listen. I call it listening to silence. And there's that old saying, silence is golden. And my experience was when I fully got into the silence, into that supreme stillness of absolute silence, that's when there was an illumination that happened in my consciousness, in my brain, where I saw the golden light just started flooding in. So silence is golden. So, you know, we all have to find a moment here and there to just tap into silence whenever we can. I know it's very difficult for people. And I'm a father, I'm married, and I'm a householder, and I have many things going on. So every moment I can, and oftentimes I'll just grab some earplugs, even in my home office, and the kids on the TV in the other room, but I can just put in the earplugs and just tap into that inner deep well of silence, which is the place where our soul resides. So I think to connect with that can really assist us in becoming more of who we truly are.
Yeah, and you have people, so I mean, and we're gonna do this, laying down on the rocks. Tell us about this land, these rocks, this particular spot, and what do you do with the harp?
Right. So what I've been, you know, since I've been working with the angels specifically for the last almost 25 years, my mission through my sound work, music and sound healing work, has been to help people to shift their frequency, shift their vibration, and help them to clear energy. Because a lot of us carry a lot of stuck energy in our body, in our energy field. Some people refer to them kind of as dark crystallizations of more dense energy in our chakras, in our field, in our emotional body, in our pain body, whatever. So the sound of the wind harp, I found, is so powerful for helping people to release stuck energy on all aspects of their beings. Because when we do the wind harp, it's all the strings playing at once. And I have it tuned to 432, which is a more resonant with the kind of the universal consciousness and our soul. So it's really like the angels play through on the sound of the wind harp, all the strings playing at once. It's like a rainbow of sound, full spectrum and ultra high frequency harmonics that we know from ultra high frequency harmonics. They have a way of vibrating out lower frequency discord.
It's like even like remind me of the dolphins, you know, like really just it goes beyond. It has such a deep frequency. It just decrystallizes.
And I told you, when we go to the Bahamas and swim with the dolphins, I take the harp and I go to the front of the boat with the wind harp, and the dolphins, they just come right up. They love it. And I play. I have some YouTube videos you can see of me doing that. But I love to play the wind harp over you, and we'll call in the angels, and you can lay here on this beautiful red rocks of Sedona, which are full of iron and quartz crystal and rare minerals that help to balance our body and help to bring us into resonance with the natural earth harmonic of like the Schumann resonance is 7.8 hertz, which so many of us are not connected with, especially if we live in cities. So as we lay down, we'll just connect with the earth pulse, and then we'll call in the celestial angels to come in to sing through the wind harp, and we'll do a sound bath for you, and everybody will watch as we do that.
A little thing about this place and how it was at a certain point, you're saying underwater?
Yeah. Well, Sedona has many times in its prehistory, hundreds of thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, when it was underwater at various times. And submarine rock, this unique formation, which you'll see pictures of it, you can see on the side of the rock the beautiful flow forms from when water was washing up, tidal action and waves washing up on the side of this rock over thousands of years has actually sculpted and created this beautiful flow form, and we can see it all in this basin. So at one point this was like intercoastal waterways, kind of like the Bay Area of Northern California, or all along the California coast where those inlets come in. This was what this was like. So at one point water surrounded these rocky points like islands. And some people even believe that perhaps that the whales and the dolphins swam through these warm, shallow waters back in prehistoric times and gave birth to their young here and enjoyed swimming amongst the red rock islands of ancient Sidonia. Yeah.
Do you call some particular angels when you do this work?
Do
you have some favorites?
I have a group that's with me, and I don't really know them, my personal angels, so much by name, but I've seen them on many occasions, and many people have, and I know they're with me, and I know they're here with us today to bring some wonderful healing. I call them just my group. We're a ragtag bunch of angels, and we do our work where we're called, and right now they're ready to share with you, Lilou.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for this blessing.
Right on. I'm ready to call them in for us, and everybody else who's listening, because this harmonic frequency will be transferred through the recording here. So just as you're watching this, just allow yourself to tune into the subtle vibrations of what's coming through now. We have a really beautiful wind, and we'll get a wonderful tone.
I'm going to first hold maybe the microphone here so you can play a little bit and can get a good sound, and then we'll do the lay down on the rock.
Let's listen. We'll go in the back in the sound.
We have the helicopter for a second, but as soon as this has gone, we're gonna go right back. Look, this is probably more powerful. Hello, helicopter. Bye bye. We're here to listen to the harp and to the angels. beautiful, Peter. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Big, big kisses to all Juicy Co-creators and angels out there. We love you. Bye.